Hey parents, it's Robbin McManne here. I'm a parenting expert and the author of the book, The Yelling Cure, as well as a podcaster with my show, Parenting Our Future. I am here to help parents go from feeling frustrated with their difficult kids to not knowing what to say and do when their kids fight each other, when they are disrespectful, when they won't listen, they won't do as they're told, and take them to a place where they know exactly what to say and do. They know how to get more respect, how to get better listening, how to raise kids that are prepared for this ever changing world that is unfolding every single day so that they can have more harmony in their home and they can build that connected relationship with their kids that everybody wants when they become parents. So, I am talking today about sibling rivalry. And my ask is that if this video resonates with you, that you please like it, that you subscribe to my channel, and that you share it with somebody who you know needs to hear this too, because I'm sure you have friends, family that is struggling in this area as well. Sibling rivalry has been around since the dawn of time. It's normal, it's natural. And I know you know somebody who must need to hear this as well, because I'm going to show you exactly what to do when your kids fight each other. So let's dive in. First thing, and you'll know from my other videos that I always look at things on two sides. On the one side is what's happening with your kids, and on the other side, it's what's happening with you. So we need to look at it from both sides. And from our kids' perspective, sibling rivalry is really actually rivalry for you. They may not know it, but that's what it is. And they may look at each other as rivals. And really, at the end of the day, what they want is to know that they are loved and lovable and that nobody could be loved more than them. But our kids are different. We interact differently with them, and they may get messages or they may have their own limiting thoughts and beliefs about us as parents and who loves who the most or more, or whatever. And that can really fuel sibling rivalry. So that's what's going on with our kids. From us, when we see our kids fighting each other, we often go into our own fight or flight mode. This is our lower brain state because one baby is attacking, hurting, or upsetting the other baby. And how do we choose? What do we do? This is really hard. And immediately we can feel triggered. I know I do. It's probably one of the hardest things is when the kids are fighting, right? And my boys are very, very different. So I have seen a lot of this. And I can tell you right now that I wish I knew this when my kids were younger because it would have helped me so much more. So the first thing that I want you to know is that fighting between your kids is not an emergency. It's not an emergency. Now, if someone's getting hurt or if someone is hurt, yes, you go to the child who is hurt. You go and you solve that. Yes, of course. But your kids bickering and fighting isn't an emergency. So what I want you to do is I want you to notice your state. Before you approach your kids, you want to be in a calm state. Easier said than done. I know. The best way to do it is through your breath. When people say just breathe, it sounds like a platitude, but it really is the most important thing we can do. Said it many times before, there's a connection between your lungs and your brain that says, when I breathe slowly and deeply, I'm safe. We don't want to get into fight or flight because then we're going to yell, then we're going to panic, then we're going to say things that we can't take back, and we're going to do things that we regret. We're going to take things away for a week or do all those things. We don't want to do that. We want to show up and we want to be calm for our kids. We want to be in control of this situation. And so we have to really watch what we show up as, what we're saying to ourselves so that we can go to the situation calm and neutral. And so when I say neutral, what I mean by that is you don't want to ever pick a side. You don't want to say, let's say your kids are fighting over the TV. You don't want to say, hey, Johnny, you're always fighting. You're always taking the remote from your sister. Can you just give it to her this once? No, you're not going to say anything like that. Instead, what you're going to say is, hey guys, it looks like you both want the remote. It looks like you both want to watch a show and you can't decide. Just like that. That's it. You're just going to explain the situation with a neutral tone. You also want to avoid choosing one child over the other. Let's face it, we usually have one kid who's the usual suspect. I know I do. One that just is pushing more buttons, one that just kind of gets in trouble a little bit more. Well, Stop calling that child's name. Don't do it anymore, because that actually fuels the sibling rivalry, because your child says to himself or herself, well, mom loves you more than me because I'm always the one that's getting in trouble. You're always getting me in trouble. So now I'm going to get you back because you're always getting me in trouble. And then this one is like, oh, and then they go and get that other child in trouble. So we want to erase all of that and stop calling the usual suspects name. So nobody is to blame in the situation. And the problem is not the people in it. The problem is the situation. So stop doing that. Okay. So you're going to calm yourself down first. You're going to explain the situation with neutrality. And then you're going to say, well, how are we going to figure this out? What we're doing is we want to create a win-win. And we want, instead of our kids being like this, where you say, Johnny, Sarah, Johnny, Sarah, Sarah, Johnny. No, we want them to talk to each other, not us. We want them to be like this. And we are just sort of stepping back here, moderating, helping them get along, helping them through it, but nobody's picking a side. So here is what it sounds like, and here is what it looks like. It looks like the two of them like this, and you're going to say, okay, Johnny, tell Sarah what you're feeling and what you're needing. You're focusing just on feelings and needs right now. Okay. Okay. So Sarah, did you hear that? He's feeling this and he's needing this. Okay. And how about you, Sarah? Tell your brother what you're feeling and needing. Don't tell me, tell each other. And then Sarah will go and talk to Johnny about what it is. And you're still there, right? Dr. Laura Markham has this great book called Peaceful Parent, Happy Siblings. And she talks about sports casting. And she says, basically you're standing there saying, okay, well, Johnny said this and he's feeling this. Okay, over to you, Sarah. Sarah, how are you feeling? And what are you needing right now? Okay, so it looks like we have a problem here in the living room today where both kids want the remote. Okay, so maybe you don't do it exactly like that, but you get what I mean, where you're just sort of saying what's happening and allowing them to work it out together. Then you say, okay, guys, let's create a solution then. What are we going to do about it? And you are just going to listen. No idea is bad. You're just going to listen until you come up with a situation or a solution, until you come up with a solution that works for both kids. Then you reiterate the solution. You say, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this, right? First, Johnny's going to get a show, but then Sarah's going to get her show, and then she gets to decide what the next show is after that. Sound good, you guys? Great. Okay, off you go. And in a perfect world, that's it. That's all you have to do. But it doesn't always work out that way, does it? Sometimes it will, great. Sometimes it won't. And so you need to keep an ear out, and you need to listen to see, okay, how are things going? Are they getting along? Is it working out like we said? And if not, you might say, hey, you know what, you guys, it sounds like that solution maybe didn't really work as well as it did when we talked about it. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's try something else, right? You're not mad at them. You're not yelling at them. You're not taking something away from them. You are just creating solutions. And here's the great thing. What you've done is you haven't picked a side. You have listened to both your kids. You have encouraged them to speak to each other, which is going to help them turn to each other later as you practice this, right? And you are listening to them, and you're creating a win-win for everybody. Now, I know this sounds like it's long, and I know you probably have some questions. So I'm gonna address some things here as we go, but I want you to know that this can happen imperfectly, that you can try this and it can fail, but don't stop trying. This is a long game. This is a solution that you're going to keep doing situation after situation after situation, until your kids will start to turn to each other and say, Johnny, I'm feeling this and I need this. And Johnny's going to say, well, I'm feeling this and I need this. And then they will start to work things out together. It can absolutely happen for your kids. Even if you think it's hopeless, I promise you it absolutely can. The key is that we model the way to talk to each other calmly. Now, you may have kids that are completely and totally worked up and super upset at each other and are dysregulated. If that's the case, two things that I want to say about that. One is do your best to catch it before it gets to that state. You know when your kids are playing, and you got to keep an ear out as much as you can to make sure you don't miss when things start to get escalated, right? Because then you can say, hey guys, it sounds like things are getting a little heated. And then you go in and you start doing those steps, right? So try to catch it ahead of time. And by the way, the video that I have at the end of this, the suggested video, is all about how to put your energy in on the front end and predict the behavior that you don't like. So you got to watch that, because that is going to like be such a game changer for your parenting. It's going to be amazing. So watch that one for sure. The next thing is that you can take a moment and say, hey, Johnny, you're going to sit over here. Sarah, you're going to sit over here. Hang on. You guys are really upset right now. It's not the time right now to talk about this. Yeah, I'm going to go get some waters and I'm going to get us all a snack. Right? That's going to help. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to be kind to them, even when they're fighting. It's okay to model that for them. And you're not going to have entitled, spoiled kids. No, you're going to have kind, emotionally intelligent kids when you can model that for them and when you can solve problems in a positive way. So I just really want to encourage you to do that. And here's some do's and don'ts. First of all, don't call out one person's name. Don't assign a label to the behavior, like you're being such a brat or you're such a whiner, or you know what I mean. Also, don't look at things from an age or gender role, like, oh, well, you're a girl, why would you want to do that anyway? Or he's older, so he gets to have it. And really, you want to make sure that your kids are working together. You want to encourage teamwork. You want to praise them when they're working nicely together. You want to encourage them to do things that they both like, to really avoid the conflict as well. And I want you to remember that our kids don't come to us knowing how to share, how to trade things back and forth, how to take turns, how to negotiate, how to make a deal with each other, how to sweeten the deal. So we've got to teach them how to do all of that stuff. And those might just be the skills that they don't have when they're caught in a sibling rivalry deadlock. So just remember that as well. So just to repeat, the steps that you're going to take is you're going to know that this isn't an emergency. You're going to show up with calmness and confidence. You're going to neutrally describe the situation and then get your kids to talk to each other about their feelings and needs. You create a win-win situation, and then you alter as necessary. Maybe it didn't work out exactly as we wanted to. Maybe it did. Whatever it is, we're going to create a win-win. And the best thing is that when you do start to create these strategies with your kids, those can be your go-to strategies the next time this happens. So you've already got one in the bank. Perfect. So I hope this resonated with you. I'm happy to answer any questions you have in the comments. It's a complicated issue. I'm happy to talk about it again. If you want me to elaborate more, I'm happy to do that. Please do like this video if it resonates with you. Please subscribe to my channel and definitely share this with somebody who needs to hear it as well. And don't forget, there's a link in the description if you need a little support in your parenting. I'd just love to talk to you. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to watch this. You're going to love it. Bye for now, everyone.